everyone, my name is Heather Autumn and welcome to my channel. I put my hair up in the hopes of it not drying flat, and it just decided it's gonna run with that and become crazy. So I'm sorry to all of you guys for having to view my hair like this. So it might surprise some of you guys to find out that Thanksgiving is actually not my favorite holiday. For me, especially since I live alone, I kind of just take the opportunity to eat things that I wouldn't normally eat. So I got like this charcuterie board, and I went out and I got some like really good beer, and I just spent some time chilling out, which is honestly a rarity for me. So as a kid, I loved Thanksgiving, but I did not love leftovers. And I think it also didn't get any better because I've had food poisoning a couple of times in my life. And I feel like once you've had food poisoning, things like leftovers become really unappealing. Like, I don't mind if it's like the next day, but I'm not a fan of me looking in the fridge and my food is like looking back at me.
What fortuitous circumstance be this?
And I'm nervous to eat it. It gets kind of just old and repetitive. So I'm gonna show you today how to make a teishoku, which is a Japanese set meal. So actually in America, we have similar, and a great example of this is like McDonald's with their burger, fries, and a drink. That would be considered a set meal. It kind of all comes out together. You have your side, you have your main, you have a drink. So I wanna start this off by saying, if you've never cooked Japanese food, this might actually be a good one to start off on. So this teishoku has 5 parts that I'm gonna be showing you how to make. One is a teriyaki salmon. I'm not gonna make the teriyaki sauce just because I have a lot of other things that I'm trying to do. The other thing is going to be a salad. It's just a plain salad with dressing. Next, I'm gonna show you some Japanese pickles that I'll be adding to the side, followed by a miso soup that is instant, so really easy to make. And strangely, the most complicated part of this dish is probably going to be the onigiri. And the filling I'm going to use for this one is a spicy tuna, and it's actually really simple to make. So please don't feel overwhelmed. I'm going to walk you through all of that. I'm going to show you all the ingredients so that you don't feel lost. Everything I'm using today can either be found at your local grocery store or at any kind of Asian food mart. Worst case scenario, you can always order any ingredient, it seems, online. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start defrosting my salmon. I tend to buy it in bags. I get the boneless but skin on type because I really like that crispy skin. So I'm going to throw that in a bowl full of water and let that defrost. All right, so for the salmon, what I'm gonna do is I like to do it skin side down first so that you get a nice crispy skin. And then I'm gonna flip it over and add my teriyaki sauce. And I'm gonna cook this until it's a little bit thicker and it coats the fish all the way. I'm gonna start work on my rice for the onigiri. Okay, if you're gonna make onigiri, please, 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 please wash your rice. I keep hearing over and over and over on these cooking channels, especially Asian cooking channels, to please wash your rice, and I'm going to repeat that as well. So the reason you want to wash your rice is because if you don't, you get a lot of that gluten still in your rice, and it's going to make it mushy. And what you really want, especially for like Japanese food, is you want to be able to see each kernel. And the reason for that is that you can flavor it better, and it just tastes better, okay? So please take the extra 5 minutes or whatever to wash your rice. Rinse it until it runs clear. Never thought I'd be doing a rant on rice, but there you go. So what I like to use is this nishiki short grain rice. It works really well. It cooks great in a rice cooker, which is what I have here. And if you don't have a rice cooker, just follow the instructions for the stove top and it will cook the same way. Wash your rice though. So when your rice is done cooking, what you're gonna do is add in a little bit of rice vinegar, and you're also going to add in some sugar and mix that all together. You don't want it to be soppy. You still want it to have that sticky kind of consistency, but that's gonna help flavor it for your onigiri. So I actually have these little onigiri makers. This is a little baby one. This one's a little bit bigger, and I haven't used them, mostly because I've just watched TV where they've gone and shaped it with their hands, so that's kind of what I tried first, and it worked really well for me. But I've also heard that some people struggle with it because the rice is either too sticky or it's just kind of cumbersome. So if you find that you're having difficulty doing this with your hands, you might want to invest in one of these little guys. So what you do is usually put plastic wrap in one end, and then you can go and layer in your rice, and then your filling, and then more rice, and then you fold it up and you take the end and you just kind of put them together like that, and then you can use this little button part here to pop it out, and then you'd have your onigiri. But for this, I'm gonna do it the more traditional way, just using my hands and some plastic wrap. All right, so for this onigiri filling, so for this one in particular, it's super flavorful, but cheap. So I'm gonna show you the ingredients for that. You're gonna get a small bowl, and you're going to empty in your tuna, and then you're gonna add in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the Kewpie mayo, and then maybe 1 tablespoon of this sriracha. And you're gonna mix that really well. Then what you're gonna do is lay out a flat sheet of plastic wrap, and you're gonna put down a layer of your rice, and then in the center of that layer, you're going to put in a few tablespoons of your filling. So this is how I'm doing it. It's a more traditional style where you go and you wrap your rice around your filling, and then you just kind of use your hands in an L shape to shape the onigiri into its classic triangle shape. Now, because the rice is sticky, I'm gonna put this in the center of my seaweed, and I'm going to wrap the seaweed up and then over, and you have this nice compact little package. And because I wanna show what's in there, I'm gonna put a little dot of sriracha on top just to decorate. I'm gonna talk to you about Japanese pickles. Umeboshi is pickled plums. These happen to be aka umeboshi. Aka means red. So red umeboshi. These can be salty or sweet. Oftentimes you'll see them as a single umeboshi in rice on a bento, and I've heard it symbolizes the Japanese flag, which I think is kind of cool. You can put it in onigiri. So if that's something you wanted to try, that's what these are for. The other type of pickles that I'll be using today will be these two. You can kind of see it in there. It's in water. This is a white radish that has been pickled. I usually use these when I cook like Korean beef, but I do have these on hand, and I will be including them in our teishoku. The other, probably more common variety that you've seen is this yellow kind of radish, and you can see they're like these half moon shapes. I'm actually used to seeing those more with bento boxes or sushi or things like that. They say pickle, but I don't want you to think of like an American pickle that is really strong. These tend to have a really subtle kind of flavor. It's just more about keeping this wet, crunchy, kind of slightly salty, slightly sour kind of thing, but nothing like a pickle. Now that we have our rice and our salmon done, I'm gonna just prep a really quick salad, and then I'm gonna take a small little plate bowl thing, and I'm going to add my Japanese pickles to that. Lastly, I'm gonna add some water to this instant miso soup. Okay, so our teishoku is all done. I'm not gonna try the miso soup or the salad because I assume you guys probably know what that tastes like, but I am gonna taste this teriyaki salmon. I have a little green onion with it. I feel like teriyaki is good on pretty much anything. I mean, it's sweet, it's savory, it's salmon, like what's not to like? Next up, I'm gonna try this white and yellow pickled radish. That's cool. It's crunchy. It's a little salty, but very sweet. I really like the yellow ones. I'm a fan of those. Next up is this white pickled radish. want to say it has more of the same flavor, but maybe because it's a round circle instead of like a little half moon, I think it's a great kind of in-between palate cleanser. Okay, so last but not least is our spicy tuna onigiri. It's a little big. This could probably be just a meal by itself. I'm still new to making onigiri, and this is just how it came out. So I'm gonna give this a try. I love that so much. So I have to go drive about a half an hour to the nearest H Mart, and they sell these and it's like $5. And you kind of have to have them fresh. It's not something you can bring home frozen that I know of, but I always end up eating them in the car because I can't wait to get home. I don't want it to get cold. And so I am just thrilled that I no longer have to make a half an hour drive and pay $5 to eat in my car. I can make it here in the comfort of my own home. So you have like the smokiness of the sriracha and of course the tuna. Mayo kind of combines it all. The seasoned rice is just right. It holds everything together. It's still kind of sticky, but it has that nice little sweetness because of the sugar, as well as a little bit of a tang because of that vinegar. And then the nori, or the seaweed, holding it all together gives it kind of like a little bit of a crunchy chew when you first bite into it. So I kind of feel like if you're stuffed and you're done with Thanksgiving and you want to kind of refresh and reset, this still has the benefit of feeling like a huge meal because you have all these different flavors and all these different little platings. So I really hope you liked this episode. If you're one of those people that like to have it all written out, please check the link below because I will have this all listed on my blog and how to make each item. Once again, if you're new to this channel, it's not really a cooking vlog. It's just kind of how it is right now. I hope to be out and about in the world soon. But till then, if you really like this channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It lets you know when I have a new video out, which is every weekend. But still, thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.